Hello, hello, welcome everybody. I am Mark McLean, Sparky Mark, and welcome to this very special Sunday edition of MEL Science. Now, how are you guys? Let me know in the chat. You should be able to let me know in the chat, and also let me know where you are from. So in the comments or chat, let me know where you guys are from. Where on this fine planet of ours are you located? Now, for here in the UK, it is, for many people, it is Easter Sunday, so it's a nice little holiday, but not for science, because we're doing some fun science here. And fantastic. Oh, sorry, the audio just is a little bit loud. I do apologise for that, guys. So can you hear me now? So as I said, I am Mark McLean, Sparky Mark, and welcome to this very, very special edition, Sunday session of MEL Science. So hopefully the audio should be okay now. Good, fantastic. Now I can see Sarang saying hello from Texas. Fantastic. The United States. So welcome, welcome. And Ariza from Pakistan. And Sarang, fantastic. Ariza says fine. Here we go, fantastic. And Louisa says here is Leo from California. So maybe, Rez, if we could change Louisa's name to Leo. You've already done it. Fantastic. Well done. Lovely. Brilliant. Sarang, I'm pleased to say that I'm also quantum superpositioned. Well done, guys. Welcome, welcome. And I can see that it's pretty hot in Texas. Yeah, it's nice and sunny here in London, which is fantastic. Not super warm, but now, as I say, this is live from London. Fantastic. All right, now I can see Leo said you tried to build this set, but it's been difficult. Okay, we're going to work through it together. Right, so as I said, I'm just waiting for everyone to arrive. So hello, welcome, guys. But as I said, I'm Mark McLean, Sparky Mark, and welcome to MEL Science. We're going to be doing a really, really fun set today called the Jungle Jack, okay? And you're actually going to be building your own jack lift. So please do let me know in the chat, have you got this set? Or let me know in the comments, have you got this set? Are you going to be building it along with me? Have you had a go at it? Now, I know some people have already tried it, and what they want to do is they built it, but they want to know what's going on. They want to find out a little bit more about the science behind this. In fact, my little nephews, I know, do watch this, and even when they've done the set, they like just going a little bit deeper into the science. Now, one of the benefits of doing this fully live is that, you can ask me questions. So please do ask me questions. I'm going to do a little introductions in a second, because there's two very important individuals that are essential for this, for the smooth running of this entire thing. But now I can see there's a big mix of people from all over the world, Pakistan as well as America, and fantastic. So yeah, as I said, let me know in the chat or the comments, have you got the set? Are you going to be building it along with me? Some people haven't got it yet. They just want to learn more about the science. So I'll be doing a full unboxing of this and explain what's going on. And then also, I know that some of you will be doing it with me. So do let me know. Either way. Right, now, as I said, there are two very, very important individuals. The first is Rez. Now, Rez is in the chat, so if you have any messages or anything in the comments, please say hi to Rez, and that's R-E-Z. So, hi, Rez. Super lucky to have Rez here, and he's just written hi, everybody, into the chat in Zoom. Brilliant. So, as I say, super fortunate to have Rez here, especially as it's a, sort of special public holiday. Now, is my voice super low in volume? I'm just making sure that you guys can hear me okay. All right, brilliant. So we'll get going in just a second. All right, brilliant. Now, I said there were two individuals. There's another really, really important individual, and that is this chap here, Owly. Hey, buddy, what's occurring? Everything okay? Sweet. Are you excited about today's session? Yes. Now, I have to say, so for those of you guys who haven't met Owly before, Owly is my... No, I definitely wasn't going to say you're a stuffed toy, Owly, because you're definitely... Owly doesn't like being called a stuffed toy. He thinks he's a real owl. Gets a bit offended if I... yes, Owly, sorry. No, I know I have in the past said that you're a stuffed toy, and that was just a mistake. You're definitely a real owl. What? No... okay, well, look, I'm not being sarcastic, and I know my voice sounds like I'm being sarcastic and I'm saying you're a real owl, but I don't really think you're a real owl. No, you're definitely a real owl that lives in a house with a human being doing science experiments live on the internet, because that's definitely what owls do, right? Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I used Owly in some of the early demonstrations for MEL Science, and now he is so popular that if I did a show without him, I think I would definitely get in trouble. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Owly, you may be more popular than I am. Right, so, okay, but Owly, you are super excited about this one, aren't you? Yes. Now, I have to say, one of the first ever demonstrations I did was this one with Owly, and in fact Owly was here mostly just to be lifted up by the Jungle Jack. So if you have any toys, don't worry, I'm not inferring you're a toy, you're definitely a real owl, but if you have any toys or real owls or any other kind of toys, you might want to bring them as well, roughly the same size as Owly here, and we can actually lift them using the Jungle Jack, which is pretty fun actually. And look, Sarang's saying Owly is super cute. Yes, you are super cute. And yes, that's right. Cool. Anyway, right. So, thanks, Owly. Are you looking forward to this one? You are looking forward to it. Right. Cool. And have you got a favourite bit? You like using the hydraulic? Yes, I know you do. All right. Cool. Well, will you come back and help me build it? Thanks, buddy. All right. So that's Owly and that's Rez, and we're going to get started. So the first thing I want you to do is, if you have the box, you might have already opened it. Now, if you haven't and you're just watching along just to kind of get a feel for it, don't worry. I'm going to do a full unboxing so you can see everything that's in the set. All right. So this is the box here, and all you have to do is just push. There we go. So push out the side here. There we go, and we should have a box inside the sleeve here. So I'm going to pop that down there. All right, brilliant. Now what I'm going to do is start unboxing. Now you should be able to see my tabletop here. So this is the tabletop here. Now what I'm going to do is just a little unboxing for you. Now one of the things that I think is quite important with any of these sets is if you take out all of the pieces, and we're going to lay them out in front of us. So I'm just going to take the instruction manual here. Sometimes Owly calls it the destructions. That doesn't sound very positive towards what we're doing. There is also your science journey booklet here, which is fantastic, and we can talk a little bit more about that later. There's also the mystery planet map, which I'm going to leave to one side, and then within here we've also got the template here for building the jack, and we've got this little hexagon here. I'll explain what that is in a bit. Now actually, just before I go on, what I'd like to do is just mention these little hexagons that come with the set are related to the MEL app. So if you guys have an iPhone or smartphone, Android phone, or some form of tablet, like an iPad or any form of other tablet, then please download the MEL app, so the MEL Kids app, okay? And I wonder if, yes, Samsung's good. Yes, Leo and Azira, yes. Brilliant. Now, as I said, Rez, if you could pop a link into the chat, it'd be great. It's completely free, guys. It's absolutely free. The guys at MEL Science have created these apps, and I have to say, they are actually awesome. I really enjoy using them. In fact, Owly and I have spent many hours having a look through all the MEL chemistry apps, the MEL physics apps, so do have a look at those ones. But as I said, the MEL Kids app is the one that we're going to be looking at today, and but even if you don't have it, don't worry, because I'll show you it on my well, it's actually Owly's, we call it his owl pad. It's not a funny joke for all the parents out there watching this, yes. Brilliant. So yes, now also I do recommend having a parent or guardian or responsible adult to kind of help with some of the little fiddly bits, but you should be able to do pretty much everything for yourselves, but it's just useful to have someone, and I'll try and keep it roughly interesting for you parents out there too. Fantastic. All right, so let's keep going. So this little hexagon, as I said, will be useful when you download the app, and as I said, completely free. You might be watching on a tablet, as I say now, or something like that, so you can't do it. That's okay, I'll show you it anyway towards the end. All right, fantastic, good. Now also within the set are these two containers here, and they will contain all the pieces. So we're going to just take all of these out. Now also within the set is this little sticker here. Don't lose it. It's going to go into the booklets that you've got. Right, so let me pop this down here, and let's get going. So what I'll do here is I'll just arrange these on my tabletop. Now, so I've got my, sorry, there we go. I've got my little device, little boxes, and within here, okay, within the blue one, I've got these little pieces here, so we're going to keep those over to one side. I've also got 2 syringes, and I've also got a little bit of plastic piping here, okay, and I've got my template there, and also within the other one I've got all of the wooden pieces. So let's have a look. I'm just going to get all of these out. So we're just taking everything out and neatly, yes, Owlie's looking at me going, I hope you're going to do this neatly, Sparky Mark. I am I'm going to do it neatly. And what I'm going to do is lay out all of the pieces in front of me, okay, so that I can see all of the pieces. Now that's quite useful because, as I say, if you're trying to find a piece quickly, it makes it much more easy, especially if you want to follow along with what we're doing. Okay, all right, now as I said, what's wonderful about these live sessions is you get to ask me questions. You know, one of the things about live sessions is sometimes things, you know, don't do, it's the same with anything that's live. Essentially, sometimes, you know, things go slightly wrong, so you guys are normally really good at being patient if they do. So but anyway, let's get going. Now, as I said, also one of the benefits is you can ask me questions, so please, Owlie and I, you have been welcomed into our home. You can see us, but sadly we can't see you. Yes, they are there, Owlie. They're just there. There they are. No, well, they're not. No, they're not in the camera. They're actually sort of, they're in their own homes all over the world, and they can see, yeah. Okay, no, they're not very small. No, I haven't really explained to Owlie how you guys can see us, but the problem is we can't see you. So one thing we do rely on is typing into the chat. Please send us messages. Yes, Ariza's saying I think you have to give it to him practically. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do that, Owlie, at some point, but I'll do a demonstration not during this session of where everyone is for you. Okay, thanks, buddy. All right, so as I said, please, questions, your comments are really valuable because it makes it exciting for us as well, so we can see that you are engaged. And if you don't really like typing, you can ask maybe a responsible adult to do that for you. Say, excuse me, could you type for me? You can do that too. All right, let's get going. So I've got all these pieces, and as I said, we're going to be doing some of the science behind this. Please, if any of the science is related to hydraulics or lifting or forces, that's great, but generally love any questions anyway. Right, so you should by now have all of the pieces out, okay? And I've got all of them over to one side, and I've got space here to actually make it. Now what I'm going to do is open up the instruction books, the instruction book here, and there is a list of components right at the start here. So there's a list of all the pieces, and just double check that you have all of those. Okay, they should be there. Just make sure nothing's dropped off the table. And what I'm going to then do, and there's now within the set also is the little comic, so you guys can have a read through that kind of, there's a continuation of the story, but I will leave that for you guys to have a look at. And now we get into the blueprint. We actually get into how you make these. Now the first step, okay, the first step is we're going to take our template here. Okay, so this is our template. This is, now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over. Okay, we're going to turn this over. Now, within this little plastic bag here, there are some stickers. Okay, so these little stickers here. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel those stickers off. Okay, I'm going to just peel those stickers off, and we're going to place them into these green rectangles here. So you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be perfectly placed. What you're actually trying to do, by the way, just so you know, is there are some holes. I don't know if you can see these little holes here, okay? There's some holes here. What we're actually trying to do is cover the holes, okay? And you're going to be doing this on the side with the green rectangles, okay? Now, there we go. I'll just take I will take those and I will place them over the holes. So as I say, it doesn't have to be perfectly placed there. You could put them sideways, it doesn't matter, as long as you are covering up the holes there. Okay, and I'm going to just do the next two, and don't worry, I won't go too far ahead, and if anyone gets stuck on something, please let me know in the chat, and I can pause, or Rez and I can try and help you to make sure that you're doing everything Right, there we go. So I'm going to stick the two of those over there. Okay. Now, just right now, yeah. In fact, then what we do is we take our template and we turn it over. Okay. And what you'll actually feel is this slightly sticky, just where those holes are. Okay. Now, the next step is this. You're going to take out of one of these bags, and don't worry, I'll give you a little bit of time to do this. I'm just going to empty those out. There are these little rivets, these little plastic black rivets here. Okay, you can sort of see those. And what we're going to do is we're going to place them onto the 4 little holes. Okay, so we place them onto the 4 holes pointing upwards. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Now what that means is that if you lift it up, look, they'll actually sort of stay there. They end up being sort of stuck. Now I'll let you guys try that now. I'll let you do that for yourselves, and just remember you've stuck the stickers on the back part with the green rectangles, and now we've got these 4 little rivets there that are sticking upwards. Now, just really quickly, before we move on, there's something that's very important for me to cover, and it's the idea of atoms. Now, atoms are tiny little things, okay? Tiny little things that are so small that you can't even see them under a microscope. Okay, so much smaller than all of these things here. Now everything is made of atoms, and that's why they're important. So as I said, atoms are tiny little things that are so small you can't even see them under a microscope, yet when they combine together in lots and lots and lots of them, and millions and millions and millions of these things, they make up things like you, me, and Owly. Now Owly is made of atoms. Yes, you are made of atoms. Now why is it that Owly, I can see Owly, hopefully, wait, can you guys see Owly? You're not just imaginary friend, are you, Owly? I hope you can see it. Well, I can see Owly, and hopefully you guys can see Owly too. Why is it, as you were saying, you can see Owly? Fantastic, brilliant. Okay, that's phew, otherwise it'd be very awkward, wouldn't it? Yes, it would be. Yes, Owly, I'm real too, promise. Okay, so why is it that we can see Owly even though he's made of tiny little things that are so small that they're basically invisible? So these atoms are so small that they're basically invisible to us, but why is it that we can see Owly if he's made of atoms? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Okay, fantastic. Now, one of the questions that's come through from Ariza is, why do you cover the hole? Now, the reason you're covering the hole is so that these little black rivets will stick to the back part. Okay, so hopefully that's answered your question there. Now, what do you guys think? Why is it that we can see Owly even though he's made of these atoms? Well done. Now I can see Leo's come up with an answer. What a great answer. Anyone else? Anyone else? Don't worry, I'll make sure I read out answers. And also, by the way, don't worry about giving wrong answers. There's, in fact, here is very much a safe space for us just trying to make suggestions. In fact, one of the best ways of learning is just making a suggestion, either getting it right or wrong, doesn't matter too much, but actually just trying it out. And so we'll have a look at that. So, okay, fantastic. Good, so let's have a look here. So Leo said a lot of atoms come together. Absolutely correct, because the atoms are so small, but there's so many of them come together to make you. That's right. Fantastic. And it's made of a combination of atoms. Yes, that's right, Ariza. There's so many, a massive combination. I kind of see it being like Lego bricks, right? You can fit them together, and if there's so many of them, they can make enormously large structures. I don't know if you've ever been to Legoland or seen the Lego store or anything like that. They have these enormous constructions made of tiny little Lego bricks. And the same way, exactly, millions and millions and millions and millions of them. I can see some people saying them. All right, fantastic. Thanks, Owly. All right, so everything around us is made of atoms, okay? In fact, even the air around us is made of atoms, okay? Now, we can't see them because, as I say, they're tiny and they're very, very spread out. When they come together as a solid, like me or Owly or this backdrop here, we can see them. But now we're going to be looking at atoms in a gas and also in a liquid in just a bit, okay? But let me quickly just ask you this. So essentially, now in a solid, okay, so for example, I don't know, in this pencil here, which is solid, okay, the atoms are more densely packed, okay, all right? They're much more densely packed together, okay, and than in a gas. So what happens is the gas around us, the air around us, does contain atoms. Now, how can we tell this? Well, I tell you what you can do. Take your hand and wave it at your face, okay? Be careful not to hit your face, but wave your hand at your face, Okay, now what do you feel on your skin? What are you feeling there? What are you feeling? And don't worry, we're going to keep building. I just want to make sure everyone is together on this. The next two bits we're going to need here are these little bits here, but we'll just, if you could locate those. Brilliant. Let's have a look at this. Now, one of the questions that Zero's asked is, and I'll come on to the waving the hand, I'll give you a few minutes just to type it. Do non-living things, are they made of atoms as well? Absolutely, you're right. Absolutely right. So these things are made of atoms. Everything around us is made of atoms, which is actually pretty cool. Okay. There is a joke. Why should you never trust an atom? Because they make up everything. Owlie's just rolling his eyes at me going, why would you tell that joke, Sparky Mark? That's such a bad joke. It's such a... Yes, it is a bit of a bad joke. Okay, thank you very much. Sarang is saying ha ha. Thank you. All right, good. So when I said waving your hand at your face, what do you feel on your face? Absolutely right. So I see Leo, you've said air, and Azira, you've said air. Fantastic. Well done, guys. And a few other people, yes, well done for everyone who said air. That's absolutely right. Now, a few people said wind. That's right too. What air is made of is made of atoms. So actually what you feel hitting your face is millions and millions of these tiny little atoms. Now, we can't see them. Now, in fact, if I look out my window, I can see the trees out there are moving. They're moving because the wind is just moving atoms, okay? So when we take one of the syringes here, okay, when you pull this open, what you're actually doing is sucking air atoms in there, and when you push it out, you're actually pushing the air atoms out. But we'll go a little bit more into that in a second. But just very, very quickly, atoms, I'm just going to do a little poll for you guys. So atoms in a solid, okay, they also will vibrate, and they also can't be compressed, and they're densely packed together, okay? But let's just have a look at this. So this is again, so little poll for you guys. You can click the answer here. So atoms in a solid, can they not be compressed? Do they constantly vibrate? Are they more densely packed than a gas, or are they all of the above? So let me go through that again. Atoms in a solid, so that's something like a pencil or owlie or something that doesn't move, something like, I've got the little glass here. Yep, something like this, guys, here. Essentially, okay, can they not be compressed? Do they constantly vibrate? Are they more densely packed than a gas? Because remember, gas is spread out. Or is it all of the above? What do you guys think? Now, almost all of you guys, about 75% of you have now voted. Anyone else ready to? And by the way, I don't see the answers, so you don't have to vote, but it's just useful just to kind of engage a little bit. And so I don't know what you click. It's okay. But it's very useful just to see what you guys are thinking. Fantastic. Welcome, Rajat, as well. All right, fantastic. So I'm just going to end that poll there. And, almost everyone's up. Now, okay, so some of you guys said that atoms in a solid can't be compressed, okay? So they can't be compressed. That's correct. But also some of you guys said that they constantly vibrate. Now, actually the atoms are densely packed together, and they do constantly vibrate. Now, have a look at the MEL Science apps, and you'll sort of see those. But also, atoms in a solid are more densely packed. They're much closer together than in the air, which is very spread out. So that's correct as well. So the answer is all of the above. So if you clicked any of those, you are correct. Okay, now don't worry, not all of the polls in the future are going to be correct if you click all of them, but it's just a good way to thank you very much for everyone who there we go, there's the results there for you, for anyone who wants to see. Okay, fantastic, great. Okay, so let's move on. Right, great. So we are now, I think everyone is pretty much caught up. I can see a couple of people who just joined, so hopefully now we're just on step 3, okay? So we've just done step 3, and here we go. Right, so I've taken the template here. On the back we put the stickers, and we've now got the little rivets. Now the next pieces we're going to need are these little pieces here, okay? Now they're called the ridged beams, and we need 2 of them. Now what we're going to do is this. Let me just show you this. This is the bit that's quite important. Can you see that there's a blue ridged beam in the picture here? So this blue ridge beam, and there's a blue ridge beam here. What we need to do is place the ridge beam over the top of the blue image there. So it's, if you're looking from above, it covers that, okay? And so what you're doing also is you're placing this ridge beam onto the rivets, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to push down, Okay, so it should just clip in there. Now, you might need to give it a good push. You might also need to ask the help of an adult or someone like that if you have any problem with that, but that should be okay. The next one we want to do here is, you see this blue coloured rivet beam here, sorry, ridge beam. What you do is you place it over the top of that as well. Now these ones here are going to be the straight edge ones, but what we do here, same thing, we place it over the top there and we push. Now this template is very useful because it helps us know where to place everything. Okay, so the guys who invented this at MEL Science, really, really good. Fantastic. Good. Now, once we've done that, that should be in place. That's step 4. We're going to do step 5. Now, I'm just going to take, there we go. Not sure what's going on in terms of focus. There we go. Just make sure that that is, I don't know, for some reason, it's not focusing very well. There we go. Okay. All right. I'll tell you what, let me come onto my main screen here. Okay, so the next bit we're going to do is step 5. And what we're going to do here, okay, is we are going to take these straight beams. We're actually going to need 4 of these straight beams. So I'm going to take all 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Whoa, 4 of these things. Okay, brilliant. Now what we do is we take, on 2 of them, we take one of these crossbars here. So we've got this little crossbar. Oh, dropping that. Owlie's looking at me going, we're dropping everything, Sparky Mark. I am. So thanks for being patient with me. Right, so what we do is we take this crossbeam, okay, crossbar, and we place the straight beam over the top of it. Now this is a little bit fiddly. There should be these 2 little holes. It doesn't matter which way up this goes, but essentially what you want to be doing is putting this on top and pushing down, okay? Now you might need to just wiggle it about a bit just to kind of get it in. There we go. Now, as I say, it takes a little bit of work, but once you've done that, we just clip it down into place. So we've got one of the beams at the top, and we're also going to need one at the bottom. So let me know how you guys are getting on with that. Let me go to the, there we go, brilliant. And so what we're doing here, as I said, is we're taking the cross beam here, and we're going to take one of these straight beams, and we just essentially click this into the hole here and click this into the hole here. But what I find is sometimes you might need to just wiggle it around a little bit just to make sure that it goes in. There we go. Okay, so please, any problem with that, get the help of a responsible adult or an older brother or sister or someone else that's there. Fantastic. Good. All right, so I've done one of those and we're going to need to do another one. Okay, so I've got one of those. Again, take the little crossbeam there, crossbar, and I'm just going to clip that into place here. As I say, it takes a little bit of fiddling. There we go. Okay. And sometimes it's a little bit easier if you do one of them first, then the other. And some people find it easier if you do them both at the same time. So whichever one works. I actually like to clip one just a little bit, but not totally in, then clip the other, then clip everything into place. So let me know how you guys are getting on with those. Okay. And once you've done those, what we're going to do is we're going to use the template again. Now, did you see that we covered over the blue one, the blue ridge beams, but you see these straight beam templates here. So this color one here. What we're going to do is we're going to place our new beam that we've just constructed over. Okay, we're going to place it so that use the 2 rivets so that, can you see that it is over, almost as if this is the shadow of what we've just created. And so we just place that over there like that. Okay, and so what we do then is once we've done that, we just push that down into place. Okay, so that's one of them done. And the next one, make sure, now it is important that you make sure that this matches up with the color at the bottom there. Okay, I'm just going to push that down. There we go. All right, fantastic. Good. How are you guys getting on at home? How are you guys getting on at home? Okay. Fantastic. It's working. Good, Leo. Well done. Fantastic. Good. Everyone else, how are you getting on? Now, I'm just going to talk a little bit about forces. Now, there's a wonderful scientist, don't worry, I'm not going to bother you too much with him, but essentially there's a wonderful scientist called Isaac Newton. Oh, Owlie's eyes just lit up. He is our favourite scientist. We love Isaac Newton. Now, he he came essentially did a lot of the work. Although he was maybe not the grandfather of this, he was very much the father of modern forces. Now, forces are pushes or pulls. Okay, so if I take Owly, you don't mind me using you as a demonstration? No, fantastic. So if I take Owly here, let me just show you my screen here. There's my tabletop. If this is Owly here, and what I do, if I just gently apply a force to him, he moves. So look, this is a push. Are you okay, Owly? I'm not pushing too hard. Fantastic. If I push, look at this. I'm pushing Owly. Okay. Now that is a force. Now forces are pushes or pulls. That was a push. Now look, if I just hold onto your arm, I'll do this gently, Owly. There we go. I'm pulling Owly along. So thanks, buddy. You're very generous for allowing me to use you as a demonstration there. Now, the thing about forces are, as I say, they are pushes or pulls. Now, some of them are contact forces because they require you to touch something. So, for example, I was pushing Owly or pulling him. I'm actually touching. Some of them are non-contact forces where you don't actually need to touch the thing that you're moving. For example, with magnets, you know how they attract each other? There is a force that we are going to be overcoming today, and that is gravity. Now, gravity gets you down. Now, I have to say, gravity is the force that means that if I take here I've got my little oxygen molecule here. What happens if I let go of this? Okay, so I'm holding on to it. What's going to happen if I let go of it? What do you think? Yes, I know. I can imagine you're saying, Sparky Mark, we know what's going to happen. Yeah. Now, I'm not trying to condescend you. I'm not talking down to you. I'm not saying 1 + 1 is 2. All I'm trying to say here is just remind ourselves what's going on. This one here, if I let it go, okay, surprise, it fell. Brilliant. Of course, it was going to fall. Now, that is due to a force called gravity. Okay. Now, the cool thing about gravity is, well, I mean, again, the good thing is things don't then float away. Sometimes, though, gravity really, it just gets you down, you're like, oh, gravity. But we are going to be working against gravity today, okay? Now, this object here, okay, now this here is actually a digging machine. This one's made by JCB. But essentially, these digging machines essentially use hydraulics. They'll use the system that we are building. In fact, today we are building the same system that actually operates this arm, although we're going to be building a jack lift. But as I said, these arms, now I'll come back to the hydraulics in just a little bit, okay? Yes, Ariza, I'll definitely tell you about the app. Don't worry, that's okay. Right, so at the end, promise. Yes, so essentially we're talking a little bit about a force called gravity, and there are many machines that we have created to work against gravity, to lift things. So I'm just going to do a little poll for you guys here, okay? Now, the force pulling things down towards the Earth is called... Okay, so what is the name? I don't know if you remember it. I just said it a second ago. Now you probably just say, Sparky Mark, you just said it. It's okay, but as I say, you don't need to get it right. I'm just trying to engage your brains and make sure you're still there, make sure you're still awake. So let's have a look. So the force pulling things down towards the Earth, is it called heaviness? Is it called gravitational force or gravity? Or is it unicorn dust? Or is it space force? Now I know this force does exist in outer space because, but it may not be called space force. But let's have a look. So is it heaviness, gravitational force, gravity, or is it unicorn dust, or is it space force? What do you guys think? What's the name of this force? Well done. Okay, brilliant. I can see pretty much all of you guys have answered. Let's have a look at this. The results, 100% of those of you guys who answered said the gravitational force or gravity. Well done. That's absolutely right. Fantastic. It is gravity. So we are going to be working against gravity today to make our jack rise. Okay, so let's build it, you might say. Come on, Sparky Mark, let's build it. Yes, I'm just making sure that everyone is on the same page. Now, we are on step 8 now, so you should hopefully have built your little device here. Okay, fantastic. Now what we're going to do is this. We're going to take one of the ridged beams, okay, and you're going to take another rivet. Here it is, another rivet, and you're going to push it into one of the ends. Okay, we're going to push it into one of the ends, and then we're going to take another rivet and we're going to push it into the middle here. So let's have a look at this. What I'll do is, so I've taken the rivets, I've pushed them one into the end, one into the middle. okay, and this hole is still open. All right, so we're going to do that, but we're actually going to do that twice, okay? So I've done that once, and I will show you again, nice and close up. We're going to put one at one end, okay, just clip it in, and we are going to then do one in the middle, okay? So that's that. Fantastic. So I'm just going to lay the two of those next to each other there, okay? And that's step 8. Now, what we're going to do is this. Now, this is a little bit tricky, so just take your time on this, please. As I said, this is why I wanted to make sure everyone was together on this, and everyone seems to be catching up. That's good. What we're going to do is we're going to take this ridged beam, and we're going to place it exactly above the ridge beam on the bottom. So again, matching where the blue, so if you're looking from above, you should see, okay, you can see the ridge beam, and we're going to take the 2 rivets, and they are going to go into these holes here, okay, directly above that one here. And all you have to do then is just carefully do this, just push them down, okay, so they clip into place. All right, so that's the first one. The second one actually goes over here, because again, have a look at the ridged beam on the bottom. So if you're looking directly from above, I'm going to arrange it so as if you were looking directly from above. And what we're going to do is place that over there, so it's directly above that one. And then all you have to do is just clip those into place there. Now that's very important that you get those, and that's why the template is there. So any problems, please let me know in the chat. And I'm just going to push this over to one side. Now, there are these 2 flat pieces here. Okay, these 2 flat pieces. Now the one we're going to need is the one with this little part at the end. Okay, now it will be labeled as the base. Okay, so this one here is the platform. It doesn't have anything on the ends, so I'm just going to put that to one side. What we're going to be using here is the base. Okay, drop the base. Actually, don't drop the base. Just there you go. We're going to use the base. All right, fantastic. So this is the base here, and then what we've got is these little pieces here. Okay, now they will, again, as I say, you can always check the names of these. These are known as the base rails. Okay, and now the base rails look like this. They're kind of almost like little sledges. They've got a thing here and a little sledge there. I'll just quickly show you, as opposed to these ones which don't have anything. Now these are the slider rails, but we're going to be using the base rails here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is this. You take the base rail, and you can see on the base plate here, there's a long hole and a small hole. What we're going to do is we're going to take this long piece here and this small piece here, and the small piece goes into the small hole, and the long piece goes into the long hole, and it should hopefully look like that. Now, the thing is, what you're going to then need to do is just clip it into place. Okay, so that needs a little bit of, maybe a little bit of help, but I think you should be okay with that. Worst case, what you can actually do is push it down on the table, and that should help clip it in place. Okay, I'll show you that with the second one. I'm just going to turn this round, and the same thing. I've got a small hole here and a large hole there. What I do is I place the small hole, there we go, the small one of these into the small hole, and the big one into the long hole there. And again, what I can do, if I want just a little bit of help, put that down on the table and just clip it down. Okay, just push it down, and so we actually end up having our base plate here. Okay, now what we need to do is we actually need to clip our mechanism here to this. So can you see that it's still stuck to the template? So what we do is we just gently peel the template off, okay, and it should come off fairly easily. I'm just going to put this over to one side. Now I've got my mechanism here. So what do we connect to the base plate? Now I'll show you. What we're actually going to do is we're going to connect one of the ridged beams, okay? It doesn't actually matter which one you do. Just make sure you're going to be connecting the ridged beam. But let me just show you this. This is the important part. You're going to connect it to the back part with these small things. So almost kind of like the sledges going that way. What we're going to do is you're going to connect the ridged beam. See this ridge side here? And that is going to be connected to this base plate here. But the important part is the ridged bits are they will be pointed at the bottom here. Okay. Now, in fact, actually, I said it doesn't matter which side. In fact, what I've noticed is, and I think it's actually really important to mention this, is that with the ridged beams here, okay, one is going to be slightly thicker than the other. Actually, no, this should be fine. Actually, no, I take it back. It actually doesn't matter which one. Sorry about that. But what I'm going to do, as long as, yes, no, sorry, Owlie's looking at me going, what are you talking about, Sparky Mark? No, I was right the first time. Absolutely, it doesn't actually matter which way you put it round. The most important part, sorry, is that it's the ridged beam that is connected there. So you do either that one or that one. It doesn't matter too much. Now, how are we going to connect it? We're going to use two little rivets, okay? So what we do is this. We take the little rivet here and we're going to push it into this hole here. Okay, just push that in. I haven't pushed it all the way. And then what we do is we place the ridged beam at the bottom and we just push the rivet into it so that it holds it in place. Okay, and then on the other side, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So I just push that in there and that's it there. Okay, so we just push those there basically. Okay, all right, fantastic. Now, so we've got those. Brilliant. Okay, now let's have a look at this. So what we've got, now we're going to use the top plate. Okay, so it will be listed as the platform. Okay, and we're going to need the platform rails. So I'm going to take this platform and just move this over to one side. I'm going to take the platform, again, which doesn't have anything on it. Good, and Leo says it's working. Fantastic, well done. Anyone else, how are you guys getting on? Okay, brilliant, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is, you see there's these little holes here. There's a small one and a slightly bigger one. Now, the good news is you can't really mess up on this because the big one, the big part here, which is at the back of the platform rail, so there's a big platform, on the platform rail, there's one with a hole, and that goes into the big hole at the back, and this small one here goes into the small one here. Now, what you can do is, if it's not quite right, you can always turn it round, but there'll only be one way in which that can fit in. Now, this is a little bit fiddly and you might need a bit of help, okay? But what we're going to do is you just clip this in. Now, what I found is if I just push on one side and then the other, sometimes it goes in more easily. That one went in quite easily, and you can see that these little parts here have clipped in, okay? So there we go. Now I'm going to just turn this around, and I'm going to take the next platform rail, and as we see, we've got the big hole and the small hole. Now I've got them the wrong way around, so I just flip this round here, and I'm going to flip this into, so these holes here, there we go. And in fact, if I just do the front one and then the back one, but actually that just clipped in. So that hopefully should be, now what you'll get here is, there's no other way of doing it, that you'll get these two holes on one side. Fantastic. All right, brilliant. Now I can see quite a lot of you guys getting with it, which is excellent. Well done. All right, brilliant. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, this platform with its rails, and we're going to attach it to our mechanism. Now how this works is this. We will connect it not to the ridged ones this time. Okay, so not to the ridged ones. We're going to connect this. Now hopefully you can see what I've got here is I've got the base here. Then I've got my mechanism over to one side. Remember, it's connected to the ridged ones. Now, this one here is going to be connected to the bottom ones here, which are the normal straight beams. Okay. Now, what I do is I take my platform and I flip it upside down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this here. Okay. So the straight beam fits in there. Now, I know I'm going a little bit slow for some people, but I just want to make sure that everyone is on the same page. We're all together. So good. All right, I can see people are catching up. That's really, really good. All right, fantastic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these little black plastic rivets and I'm going to insert this here into the hole here, but also it should go through the hole just here as well. So what I'm going to do is just clip that, and that should hold this in place here. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is from the other side, I'm going to take my little black plastic rivet and I'm going to insert this there. Okay, so that holds my mechanism in place. So what we should have is the base plate here, there you go, and the platform, and they're kind of connected by this sort of mechanism here in the middle. Then all we have to do is we take the platform at the top and we just fold it over, and that is our mechanism. Okay, so just in case you missed that, all I do is I take the two here and I just fold the platform over and we push down, and that is my mechanism. It should be able to go up and down. And that is our jack lift essentially created. Now, it's not quite finished yet, the jack lift. What we need to do is we need to take this little wooden cylinder here, okay, and you see this slider that goes along the side here. What we're going to try and do is we're going to try and insert this into this slider, and it's going to go through the back here. Okay, it goes all the way through the back so it can slide backwards and forwards. But it also needs to go through this hole here, okay, on the normal straight beam. So what we do is I'm just going to lift my mechanism up, and I'm going to just, let me see if I can get this. Now, as I say, it's quite hard to show you on the camera, but what I'm going to do is you can see that hole there, okay, that hole here. I'm just going to insert this in, slide it through that hole there. Okay, so hopefully you can see this, and it's going to come out the back. I want to slip it through that hole here and through the, there we go. So it just goes through both of those. So let me know if that's okay for you guys. And once you've done that, there are these little star shape holders. There we go. And what you do is you just place them over the ends. There we go. Just place them over the ends of the, there we go, of the wooden cylinder. There we go. Okay. That's that. All right, fantastic. That is step 16 done, and 17. So now we have our mechanism built, which is fantastic. All right, great. Now, what's next? Now comes the fun part. Okay, so we're going to be building our hydraulic system. Okay, now hydro from the Greek water. Okay, now essentially a hydraulic system is this. Now let me quickly show you this. So we were talking a little bit about atoms before. Now there are atoms in the air, but there are also atoms inside liquids. So for example, I've got some water here, and you might want to go and grab some water, or just have a small amount in a glass if you're going to be doing this too. But I'm just giving you a bit of warning. Right, now what we're going to do is this. If I suck in on one of these syringes, what's actually happening is, so if I pull down, it actually sucks air atoms into this. Now, if I, instead of using air atoms, put this into water and sucked up, what will happen is water will get sucked in. The atoms of the water will get sucked in. Fine, great, Sparky Mark, brilliant. Why is this important? Well, if we then squeeze this, the water will come out. Okay, now we're wetting our houses. So as I say, please do this in a room where it doesn't matter if it gets wet, or have some kind of, if we've got a little tray here, you can, sort of, I've got atoms on mine, but just to make sure that we're not going to get wet. But here we go. So now we can do it with air first. Now, watch this. If I suck this, so if I pull this out, I've sucked air into this. Now, if I place a little tube over the top of this, okay, so I'm going to just place a little tube. You might need a little bit of help, just placing the tube over the top of this. And don't worry, you can take your time on this. And then what I'm going to do is take one of the other syringes, which isn't pulled out. I've just got it sort of pushed in, and I place that over the top here. What's going to happen if I push down on this one? What's going to happen if I push down, okay, on this one? All right, so let's have a look here. Okay, let's have a go. What's going to happen? Let's see. So I think what's going to happen, but let's say Owlie's like, what's Sparky Mark going to do? Let's see. So if I push down on this, the air is going to get pushed out of here, and it's going to get pushed along this tube. So watch happens. Watch what happens. Here we go. Oh, magic. Now, by the way, note how it didn't happen straight away. So watch this. Look at this. I push first on this, right? I'm pushing, and eventually the other one goes up. Okay? So, yeah, air passes through the pipe, says Ariza. Yes, fantastic. Fantastic. Now, if I ever pronounce any of your names wrong, please let me know. That's okay. But there we go. Right, as I say, I'm going to push down on this, and the other one sort of eventually goes up. Now, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to unattach the pipe here. Okay? And I'm going to push this one down. Okay, this is the one that's attached to the pipe. Then I'm going to put this into water. Okay, so I'm going to pop this into water, and I'm going to pull upwards on this one. So I'm just going to pull this upwards. I'm sort of doing it one-handed just to kind of see. Now you can see that water is being pulled into, I know it's not perfectly in focus, it's being pulled into this tube here. So now this tube here is full of water, and so is the syringe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other part of this syringe, okay, and I'm going to place a syringe that has been pushed down onto the end here. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to push that there. So now we have water inside this, okay? You can see there's a tiny bit of air, but mostly it is water. So now, what happens if I push down? Of course, the water is going to get pushed out, but look at this. Immediately it goes up, okay? Now, the reason for this is what I was talking about with the atoms earlier. So you might have been like, why is Sparky Mark talking about atoms? The thing is, air atoms are very, very spread out. The atoms in the air are very spread out, so we can actually compress them, okay? So if you try the syringes without water, you can actually try to do this with water because they end up heavy. But essentially what happens here is if you try it with air, you can actually compress these, okay? You can actually get them both down because the gaps between the air can be pushed. Now with the water, please be careful of this because I've done this a couple of times where I push down on both of them and the pipe ends up pushing off and you end up getting very wet. And Owlie got rather frustrated with me because I was all over that. Well, now I'm here in the film studio and I try not to get things too wet. Fantastic. Perfect. Now, air passes through the pipe too. Why would it not fill completely? Yes, good point. So can I just point out that, you know, when I sucked up the air, there was actually sucked up the water, sorry, there was a small amount of air in there. Now, by the way, you can actually get this, by the way, to be, to fill. Let me just show you. There is a way of getting this so it's just completely full of water. If I push up on this, okay, and I do that there, so all of this is water and I've got the air at the top, you can actually take the back of the syringe off like this, okay, and then get rid of the air. But I have to say, I think it's okay even if you've got just a small amount of air in there. Another way to do it is you can very carefully above the sink is just take your syringe pipe here like this, and I've got the air at the top, and just push up gently just to get rid of the last bit of air if you want to get it. But as I say, having a small amount of air in there will be okay. Now, by the way, if it was air, if it's an air system, and we're nearly done, and just say, if this is an air system, it's known as pneumatics, but we are building a hydraulic system because it uses water. So what we're going to do here, and this is very, very cool, I apply a force to this one, and a force comes up here, okay? Now, this is how these JCBs or these diggers work. Essentially, they've got the arm here. You can sort of see its arm there. You've got its arm. Now let me just quickly show you this. Here, what we have here is essentially an arm with this little syringe attached, and then when we push on the other one, the arm gets pushed up. It's actually very, very clever. We're going to be doing a similar thing, but essentially we're going to be creating an upward force. Okay. Now how we do that is you take your jack lift, okay, and we're going to take the syringe that is empty, the one that is pushed in, and we're just going to place this into this little hole here. So let me go to my desktop camera so you can see. Here we go. Right. So this is now, we're on step 18, which is to fill it full of water. Okay. And then we're on 20. Now, inside this little pack part here is a little wooden piece. Now, this little wooden piece actually goes over, you see this little wooden cylinder here? It actually clips over this here eventually, but don't put it on just yet. What we're going to do is I'm going to take my syringe. Okay, now if you did clip on, it doesn't matter too much, but what I'm going to do is take my syringe and I'm just going to slide it over, here we go, onto this wooden piece here, and it should just slide in and hold. Now it's a little bit stiff to get on, but once you've got it on there, it'll stay, and there's a reason why it should be stiff, so it actually stays. Okay, and then what I do in step 21, we're just going to clip this over. Here we go. So you see this little cylinder, like I showed you. You clip it over there. Okay. Here we go. I'm just going to clip that down. And as I say, it's just a little bit stiff. There we go. It should clip in place. Okay. So it should clip in place. Then what we do, sorry, there we go. I want to make sure this is in focus. Then what we do is we pull on the syringe a little bit, and there should be a little hole at the bottom, and that should clip into place there. So with your syringe, should clip, so a little part of it comes out of there, And I think that's not perfectly in focus. I do apologize for that. There we go. But I'm just make sure. Here we go with my main camera. What I've got here, as I say, this, you've got the syringe should fit into this bottom part here, and also into this little wooden holder. Okay. All right. So let's have a look now. There we go. All right. Perfect. So that should be in focus for you, so you can kind of see. And then the last little bit here before we can operate this, again, I'm not sure what's going on with the focus there, is we take some of these we take one of these elastic bands here, we take one of the elastics here, okay, and we just place it over the top. Oh, there we go, that came off. Place it over the top of this little notch there, pull it over the top of the syringe, and we should be able to just clip it in there, and that should hold the syringe in place, okay? So let me know how you guys are getting on with that, and let's see how we go. So, as I said, what we've got here is I've got the syringe full of water here, I've got the one here that's sort of mostly pushed in, and what's going to happen when I push on this? Well, let's have a look. So I'm going to push on this, the water's going to come out the bottom, it's going to go up the pipe, and it's going to go into this syringe, and it's going to push that way. Let's have a look. Now, Owlie loves this bit, don't you, Owlie? Here we go, buddy. All right, fantastic. There we go. All right, so what's going to happen? Let's have a go, guys. All right, so let's do it. Are you ready, Owlie? Are you happy, buddy? You're not scared of heights, are you? No, he says he's an owl, so why would he be scared? He flies anyway. So let's have a look. Here we go. Now I'm going to push on this. Let's have a go. Yeah, there it is. It goes up. Now, that is very cool. So as I said, what's happened here is this. I push down on here. The water comes through. It pushes this syringe. It pushes these ends closer together. Now, kind of like scissors, what happens is they push together and the top parts push together. But that actually pushes this mechanism together, which makes it longer. Okay. Now, by the way, if I just release it like this, you okay? You happy, Ali? You love this bit, don't you? He loves this bit. He actually really enjoys it. Oh, you want to go again? Okay, he wants to go again. No, I don't mind going again. Let's have a look. So we push up and it goes up, and we pull down and it goes down. Now, exactly, this is hydraulic power, the power of water power, essentially, to lift things. And by the way, this is an incredible device that allows us to lift very, very heavy things. No, Ali, I'm not saying you're very heavy. But no, it can be used. And so things like building the pyramids, building enormous buildings, moving very, very heavy objects are made so much easier by this mechanism here, by this hydraulic mechanism, which is fantastic. Yes, Owlie does love it. I can see some of you guys saying he does love this one. Right. So I promised I would show you the app. So essentially what happens is, for those of you guys who have downloaded it, it is completely free, and there we go. Sorry, let me just make sure this is unlocked on the OwlPad. And we've got the MEL Science ones here. I've got the MEL Kids. And essentially, if you just get it loaded, I'll get it loaded in just a second. But before we go, and I'm just going to show you this at the end. Before we go, it's doing the little dinosaur loading, which is pretty cool, and he licks his lollipop. Before we go, now, one of the ideas that MEL Science came up with, which I really, really love, is sending you guys like a sort of a certificate or personalized postcard for this session, because you guys have here. One of the questions Leo's asked, why do we have 4 rubber bands? It's in case you lose some. MEL Science are really good like that. They give you, no, you don't need to use the rubber bands. And by the way, if you have any of the other sets, the other MEL Science sets, for example, there's the spring car. You might find that the extra elastic bands here are useful for putting around the wheels, but that's fine. All right, thank you very much, Ariza. Right, so as I said, if you want one of our personalized postcards or certificates, which Owlie and I will write to you. In fact, what we actually do is you write to the MEL Science, and they will send it to you. Please let us know. Rez will give you the link. He's just popped it into the chat there. If you just click that and fill out your details, you will get one of these certificates. I think the main idea, there's no other reason for doing this than it just seemed like a nice thing to do. So all that will happen is we'll just send you a little postcard to say thanks for attending, with a little message from Owlie and I. And I don't know how exciting that is. Some of you might enjoy it. But anyway, right. So as I said, with the app, what you do as you go down, and they've got all the different MEL Kids ones here, and the one that we've been doing today, here we go, is the Jungle Jack, and you can open that up in 3D. And what it actually allows you to do is zoom in and look around here, and actually, you know, there's lots of other things here, and you can actually sort of look at the experiments. But with lots of those, and I do encourage you guys to have a look at all the different MEL Kids sets on the VR. They're really, really fun, I have to say. Now, did you enjoy that session? I can see that Leo says it was fun, and Ariza is saying you teach us in a very good way. Thank you very much. I'm very glad. My hope is that you guys have really enjoyed this session, and that you kind of learned a little bit more about science. What do you think, Owly? Best session? Whoa, he says best session ever, says Owly. Well, I don't know if it was the best session ever. I think it was quite good. I mean, you know, remember I took a little bit long on the thing? No, okay, all right, fine. No, he thought best session ever. I think he's a bit biased though, because he likes going up and down on the lift. Yes, okay, after the session's finished, you can keep going up. I don't mind if you want to keep going up and down. We can do this. I've got to say goodbye to these guys, and we can just, okay. All right, guys, it's been so nice to have you. Thank you so much for all your awesome questions, your comments, for everything. If you, as I said, if you want a postcard, please click on the thing. Sarang said, I love MEL Academy. Yeah, we really like MEL Academy too. I have to say that the guys at MEL Science must have so much fun making these sets, because we really have fun doing them, don't we? Yeah, we get to just do them online live to you guys, which is really, really cool. Good. Leo says you needed a teacher for this. Look, I'm so glad, and hopefully it makes sense what I'm talking about with the hydraulics. Now we've got a couple of minutes over. Thank you very much to Rez for being there in the chat. Thank you, Owly. Thank you to you guys. Lovely, lovely to see you. And we will see you again very, very soon for another one of these live sessions. Take care and see you again soon. Bye bye.